before we get Bolin on here, and he just covers me up and doesn't let me get a point across. He has been hot for 2 weeks because a lot of people in the Cult of Cornette and on Twitter out there, they twittered that they loved Hustler Rip Rogers on the Experience last show.
Boy, did they.
Yeah. Oh, that he was the funniest guy we've ever had, that he was most entertaining, that the place as favorite cult personality guest on the Experience of Star Maker Bolin may have been taken by Hustler at Hustler 2754, Rip's Twitter handle, as they say.
Which, by the way, is now unlocked, and he can be retweeted.
Works now, thanks to your fine efforts. So anyway, Bolin has gotten legitimately hot about this and demanded to come on, or he would never speak to me or any of us again. He demanded to come on here and tell people that no, he is still the number one guest, that is not Rip. He's jealous. And I'm sure that will sink through or seep through out of his voice as soon as you hear him. So, and he's got a new phone, apparently. Somehow he wangled the goddamn cable people into giving him a phone and something else that he didn't have and charging him less money to do it. So at least we might be able to hear him better today.
Well, in the spirit of holiday giving, let's get Kenny on the line.
Oh boy. All right. Can he hear me at all?
Let's see.
Hello. Can you all hear me on there? Hello. Have I got a connection?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Your new phone sounds better than your old phone. Or sounds worse.
Thank you.
No, I'm
worse or better. Make up your goddamn mind.
Sounds worse. Your old phone's better than.
So now you changed the story.
I've changed it. Yeah. Oh shit. Never mind. It sounds like shit. Regardless, what I was trying to say.
Well, this is the Glenn Ross of telephones here, and I just had this installed just a few days ago. One of the finest phones on the market. And I'm glad I have this phone installed because I haven't had one for about the last 9 days. My internet connection went down over Thanksgiving. Couldn't connect with anybody. And there's been all kinds of shit going on I wanted to talk about. I even had to cancel my show with you last week, which I understood led you to cancel your show.
No,
I couldn't get through. So you had to cancel your show.
I canceled the show last week. It had nothing to do with you because I was broken down on the road with a bad fuel pump and couldn't get back in time to post the show before Court Bauer went on his vacation.
Well, I heard you had to cancel it because y'all couldn't get a connection with me. That's what I'd heard. But either way, you're going to change the story anyway. But the main reason I want to get through today, I've been seeing this bullshit on Twitter. I've been hearing you cackle about it. I hear you've stirred up most of it. I take great pride in being the most popular and number one rated guest in like 4 of the 5 slots on your show. I take great pride in that. And now you're out there spilling out this bullshit.
No. Here,
Rip Rogers?
Once again,
more popular than me? The new Kenny Bolin of your show? He's going to make the people forget about me? You're telling people this.
You're twisting the information. I didn't tell people. This is what people were saying. They were tweeting that Rip Rogers was the funniest, the most hilarious, the most entertaining guest ever on the Experience. He might be the new cult favorite. Star Maker Bolin, because he was hilarious and his witty repartee and banter was a hit with the crowd, and that's a lot of people were tweeting. You're using
the term witty with Rip Rogers in comparison to me. Have you lost your fucking mind?
He's a bon vivant.
He is the most miserable old fuck I've ever met in my life. I've known Rip Rogers for 25 years. Never one day did he ever say good day. Never one day, hey, how you doing? Happy to see you. He's always a day of misery. He's probably even more miserable than you. And I don't know how in the fuck that can be done. But Rip Rogers is mad. He's the type of fucker that you could put a gun to his head and he would beg you to pull the trigger. That's the type of fucking guy he is.
He did when he was working at the convenience store and the guy came in and robbed him. We talked about that on the program.
I didn't listen to enough of the show to find out. I was burnt out on Rip Rogers about 4.5 fucking minutes into it. He made me want to put a gun to my head and pull the fucking trigger.
I'm about with you right now. That's where I'd like to be because if you'd have listened,
he made you miserable too, eh?
No, if you probably listened to that program word for word about 5 times because I've heard all over town the scuttlebutt is that you were so jealous, so eaten up with a green-eyed monster that Rip Rogers took your thunder and came on, and the Cult of Cornette followers loved him as a new resident recurring guest over your fucking contributions to this program, whatever those might be.
Being as my internet was down.
That's what the problem is.
Being as my internet was down for a period of roughly 9 days due to faults of Time Warner Cable, nothing that I could handle, I wasn't able to correlate with the people that were trying to communicate with me to talk about this bullshit that was going on your Twitter feed.
Yeah,
that you had started. From what I understand, that you had started. You instigated all this.
You're trying to cover your tracks. You're trying to cover your tracks because you.
I'm not.
The whole time.
I'm not, because all the emails that I have gotten have buried you. Talked about what a fucking idiot you must be. What job suicide you must have. You must not want that show anymore.
Well,
but if you want people to think that Rip Rogers could ever touch me in a popularity contest on his show, as a matter of fact, I'll challenge you right now. I know for a fucking fact not only all my fans will vote, but your fans will vote for me too. Well, pick them. Who do you want to be your next guest on this show? Me or Rip Rogers, and this is going to be a landslide from fucking hell. I promise you.
Would you calm down? You're going to have some type of coronary occlusion if you don't just calm down.
You've been hoping I'd have a coronary conclusion for about 30 years now, and it ain't happened yet.
Well, and you've got the glaucoma. You burnt the bread on yourself. You claimed glaucoma for so long. Now you finally got glaucoma.
I knew it was coming, and this is a shoot, folks. I went to the eye doctor about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I don't know how the fuck Jimmy found out about it.
No, we're not going into that story. I just referenced that you got glaucoma, but we're
let's not talk about me possibly dying of glaucoma. Let's gloss right over that.
I'm pretty sure you don't die of glaucoma.
Oh, if you can,
if anyone does, it's me, yeah.
Is the glaucoma not just an excuse to smoke weed? I'm guessing. No? Okay.
I do not partake in weed smoking.
Is that the devil's grass?
It's the devil's grass. Thank you.
Okay.
Here's the problem. I'm going to try to be nice to you because to get this program over with a little quicker, since you've made no case whatsoever for your statement that Rip was not the greatest guest we've ever had.
I'm going to let the people decide that one. This is going to be over quick.
Well, it's going to be over quick, all right. But since you were not hooked up to the internet, the outside world, you don't know what's been going on. We have some mail that we're going to read about CM Punk, the man of the hour. Do you know what's going on with CM Punk? Have you heard about all these things? The interview.
No, apparently not. I saw he signed with the UFC. Big deal.
Big deal. Alice, read the CM Punk questions. I'll address these honestly and literally and intelligently.
Jimmy just used honestly. Go ahead.
Okay, you two. Here's a question from a listener. Hey, Jim and Alice, and I also have to add, it says parenthetically, and whoever else decides to invade the drive-thru. Well, he had no idea who he'd be getting, did he? I'm a longtime listener of The Experience, and I look forward to your show week after week. In the aftermath of UFC 181, the big news didn't seem to be a new welterweight champion, but CM Punk saying he'd be in the UFC in 2015. Now, I'm all for new things, and going from pro wrestling or sports entertainment to MMA is great, but I was surprised that Punk was using his wrestling name and not his real name for his announcement. I get the marketing behind it, but I was wondering your thoughts about using a wrestling name as the only name to be used in the UFC.
Well, when he has the rights to use the name, I think that's fucking great.
I'll agree with you on that. If that's his name, he can use that name. I don't have a problem with that. Where do you think my beef comes from?
Well,
man wants to get in the UFC and fight under the name he created. I'm cool with that.
Oh, for heaven's sake! But
my God, we had an agreement.
He had prior usage before he went to the WWE of that name, so he naturally was able to take it with him, and that's the way that everybody knows him.
Well,
it's going to sell a shitload of pay-per-views.
Well, we actually agreed on that.
Well, that was relatively painless then.
We have a second question. For whatever reason, this one's only addressed to me. Hey, Alice, I had this debate with a few friends today and would love to hear your and Jim's opinions. Given all the elements to each of their stories, which do you think is overall more believable, Santa or Jesus? An argument can be made for both.
Well, I think Santa is more believable because at least Santa is based on a real life.
I've seen Santa. I saw him down at the mall.
Well, and the Saint Nicholas was it?
He was a Turkish saint. Yeah, he's a real guy.
He was at Thornberry's Toys when I was a kid. He was at Western Auto. He was at the Green Giant, a little grocery store back in the 60s. Yeah, I've seen a lot of him.
Ever notice how he's old, yet he never seems to age?
Jesus never seems to put in an appearance where I'm at, though. I don't know what the hell the deal is.
It'd be kind of cool if you could get your picture taken with Jesus at the mall.
God. Oh, my fucking God. I am sitting here looking at my computer. My internet's working now. I've got the 50.0, by the way. I can zoom through this shit. You didn't bother to tell me this. CM Punk has been challenged by Tommy the Green Ranger from the Power Rangers. How the fuck did you leave that out of the conversation?
What are you talking about?
It's on the internet right here. Tommy the Green Ranger has challenged CM Punk.
This is pretty awesome. It's the best part of the story for me. This I think came out yesterday, the day before.
Part of the story you glossed right over that and went to Jesus.
The guy who used to play the Green Power Ranger on the Power Ranger show, who I guess is now an MMA fighter.
Tommy, the most famous Ranger there's ever been.
Okay.
Tommy the Ranger.
The Green Ranger.
I feel like
the White Ranger too.
I feel like Kenny knows much more about the Power Rangers than I do.
Well, fuck yeah! Me and my son, the Prince, we watched the Power Rangers from day one. They came on in 1990, I think, or 89. They said it would never last. They're still on today.
Wait a minute.
How
old is this fucking guy? Then
Tommy? Well, shit. I guess he was in his late teens, early 20s, back in around 1990. So do the math. How old would he be?
25 years ago. So he's in his mid 40s, and he wants to fight CM Punk who has never had a mixed martial arts fight before.
Well, how old is Punk?
Well, wait a minute. Now I'm starting to think this guy's a little smarter. And I think he's trying to get himself into the match on pay-per-view with a big debut match of CM Punk to be with Tommy the Green Ranger.
Whoa, back down, Jackson. Are you fucking with me? You really think? Now you know me, man. I love my wrestling and I love my wrestlers to do well, except for Brock Lesnar. But if you think for one fucking minute that CM Punk, a man who took a couple of bumps and took his ball and went home and has cried to everybody since about, how abused he was in the WWE.
What?
And now he thinks he's going to climb in a ring with a guy who was formerly the Green Ranger, formerly the White Ranger, a martial arts expert, a man that has not only beaten every man he's ever been put in a ring with, but he also beat all the evils on the Power Rangers. He beat Zorro. He beat Rita. He beat 23 putties in one fight. Them little gray putties attacked him. He kicked the fuck out of every one of them. What do you think one CM Punk is going to do?
Wait a minute, are you fucking demented? First of all, this is obviously some kind of fucking D-list fucking celebrity that is apparently we've established would have to be in his mid-40s at least.
Maybe late 30s. He was young.
Has he ever had any kind of fight? Is he a fighter?
This is where I got you. I knew I'd lure you into this. This is where I got you. Every fight that Tommy the Green Ranger and the White Ranger ever had on the Power Rangers was just as real as anything that CM Punk had in the WWE. Fuck CM Punk. And I'll tell you what, the Power Ranger fights were a lot better choreographed, too.
Wait a minute. Then you'd have one guy that's never had a professional fight going against another guy that's never had a professional fight. And who would benefit? Tommy the Green Power Ranger. Because everybody knows
where you're wrong again. Once again, I lured you right back where I wanted you to go, where you were going to make that claim. Tommy the Green Ranger has been in the UFC for a little while now. And he has had 4 professional fights. And he is 4-0. He's 4-0.
UFC. Where did Dana White introduce ladies and gentlemen, the newest guy I've signed, Tommy the Green Power Ranger? How did I miss this?
Oh, I don't know that he's fighting for that fucking blowhard or not. Dana White thinks he's the fucking Vince McMahon of fighting. Fuck Dana White.
So
and fuck Punk if he thinks he can beat the Green Ranger. The Green Ranger is an actually licensedly trained martial artist who is at the top of his game. He only just did anybody want to fight Bruce Lee when he was in his 50s?
He didn't make it to his 50s.
Yes, he was.
He fucked up then, didn't he?
No, stop it. Look here. First of all, what I'm trying to say to you is that CM Punk, if he does go into training and fucking takes it seriously, he's not going to have a fake fight. He's going to go into UFC like any other fucking fighter, starts from scratch, 0-0 record, and they're going to get somebody, not the goddamn toughest guy in the world, but they're not going to be able to prove anything if he fights some fucking middle-aged D-list celebrity.
4-0 D-list.
Television.
You ain't going to get more out. I tell you what. You could put Arnold Schwarzenegger in one line. You could put Sylvester Stallone in another and put Tommy the Green Ranger in another. put them at Toys R Us, and Tommy the Green Ranger will smoke them in autograph signings. I fucking promise you. Don't you ever refer to him as a D-lister.
I promise you CM Punk will smoke Tommy the Green Power Ranger and sell him pay-per-views, just so you know.
CM Punk, who claims to be straight edge, is probably smoking a lot of shit if he thinks he can beat Tommy the Green Ranger.
There's one thing I can say.
I'm going to tell Tommy the Green Ranger exactly how to beat Punk.
I don't care what you tell Tommy the Green Ranger. You tell Tommy the Green Ranger I told him to blow me. I don't care.
There is one thing that can be said in
I'm not going to tell him to blow you because he won't do that. He's not a man of that ilk. But I will tell Tommy the Green Ranger to go up to CM Punk, and I know this will work, slap him in the back of the head, and he's going to go cry to Dana White, beg him for time off, want to take his ball, go home and marry his little diva before everybody else in the WWE fucks her. And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
He ain't going to, what's her name, AJ? Is that her real name too? They both run around going to buy initials because they ain't got no memory and can't remember their full fucking names, so they got to go by letters. I'm CM. Who are you? I'm AJ. That's all they can fucking remember.
You're just trying to be contrary, and I know why you're in a bad mood. As a matter of fact, I'm aware of what's going on over there at Bolin.
I'm not in a good mood today. That's funny you noticed that.
Well, I'd like to tell the folks the reason why you're not, because your dog is a fugitive. Chaco is a fugitive from justice at the current time here in Jefferson County, Kentucky. Is he or is he not?
Well, there's a lot of people that apparently today that are trying to outsmart me and lure me down roads that I don't want to go, and apparently the Jefferson County Dog Pound is one of them. There have been some issues with my little mislabeled pit bull because we went to the Shively Animal Clinic today.
It weighs 105 pounds.
Well, they say that, but I don't think that's accurate. I think it's closer to like 49 pounds, and we have had 3 veterinarians today diagnose the dog and have ruled in our favor that she is not a pit bull. You've seen her. She's not a pit bull. You don't get too close to her, but you've seen her. And she has now been labeled as a lab mix. So she's no longer, according to 3 veterinarians at the Shively Animal Clinic, is labeled a pit bull. They showed up here today at my door. Fortunately, I was asleep, and I didn't have to deal with them right offhand. And my Labrador was in bed with me. She keeps me warm at night.
By the way, the Labrador is 17 years old and weighs 157 pounds.
Well, she turned 17 in July, and she's 157 pounds. Very, very good. And she snuggles into me at night. She's been loving my life. She's just
I know we've talked previously on the program about how you French kiss your dog, but nevertheless,
sometimes. But her fur's all nice. She just had her bubble bath last night.
All right, Eddie. You never bathed those animals. Those animals have the.
Well, I didn't. I had Chris and his wife do it. She's a little heavy for me to get in the tub with me, so I just let them do it.
Chris's wife?
Never mind.
Sorry about that.
So back to the dog pound.
The dog catcher came with the net.
So she showed up at the door and traumatized my poor mother because my mother loves Chaco like you won't believe.
Ma Bolin could not be traumatized by a Nazi invasion.
Well, she's traumatized by this because she loves that dog. But they beat on the door till Ma answered, and of course Misty can't hear that well, so she didn't hear anybody and didn't bark, so she was safe because her licenses are out of date, and I now got to get those up to date.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
I got to pay 3 years of late fees, which are $15 a year, and I didn't know that.
You don't get a license.
Well, I forgot. I thought she was good for 3 years. I thought it was a 3-year vaccination, but apparently it wasn't. According to the documentations they have down at the county dog pound.
Yeah.
So they put out an APB on my dog. They think we're lying. They're looking all over the place around here trying to find the dog. Fortunately, Misty was under the covers, and they thought she was a human. And she didn't wake up. She didn't hear them, so they didn't realize Misty was in bed with me. Chaco, of course, was not here. He was out having dinner with my son Chris and the lovely Myra.
Was there a tip-off? That the dog was not on the premises?
Well, actually, there was. The maintenance man come by here yesterday and said that 3 formal complaints had been filed against my dog for aggressive behavior. I said, what do you mean aggressive behavior? What did the dog do? I'm with the dog every day that it's here. He said, well, he lunged at a passerby and barked at him. I said, well, fuck me. A dog barked at somebody. God damn, that's what dogs do.
That is an aggressive dog. That dog, every time I'm over there, is bouncing off fucking walls.
Well, it's happy to see you, Jimmy. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that aggression. It's just happy to see you. But no, that's what dogs are for. They're supposed to protect you. Oh, but wait a minute. You have a dog.
Well,
How much
what about
protection
the
does your
other-
dog provide?
What about the other aggressive behavior? What else has he done besides just bark?
She bit the maintenance man here several months ago. The maintenance man
she
kicked
bit the
at her.
maintenance man. I remember.
The
Now,
maintenance
was that-
man kicked at her in a violent way. She got a hold of his leg, which was his own stupid fault, and she chimed in on his leg until she drew some blood, and he had to go to the ER. But we got paperwork done, and she had her tetanus shots and vaccinations, so we thought everything was fine.
She ate half this man's leg off, and because
That
she
could be
had
a bit of an
shots, it was
exaggeration.
all right.
Well, he kicked at her. I mean, Jimmy, if some,
Well,
let's say
she was
Eric,
looking for him.
if Eric Bischoff kicked at you and you were a dog, would you not bite Eric's leg? Thank
So,
you.
well,
No
well,
answers needed. No
While
answer
this
is needed.
demon dog at you, this devil spawn that you've hatched over there, was lunging at this
Well,
man. He
well
put his
now Chaco cannot come back home because an APB is out for her. They're looking for her, and they're trying to get her before we get all the legal paperwork done. But we're just about there, but we can't get her spayed or neutered until January the 6th. Because if you have a pit bull, which we've had her renamed and relabeled, she's now a lab mix. They want us to have her
Isn't that,
spayed.
isn't that like when they made Pluto? Just all of a sudden, Pluto, you're not a planet anymore.
No, you kind of the same thing, but 3 veterinarians agreed. So she might have been mislabeled as a pit bull, even though you look at her and you say, Kenny, where'd you get your pit bull? I think she just looks like a pit bull.
4 out of
If
5.
it looks like a pit bull, if it looks like a pit bull, it's not necessarily a pit bull. It could be a lab mix.
4 out of 5
apparently-
veterinarians would guarantee also, and would
Well,
agree that
I
the
don't know
reason
about
why
4 out of 5.
Your breath smells like the pit bull is because you apparently French kissed the pit bull.
I let the dog eat popcorn and apples out of my mouth. My dog likes popcorn. It likes apples.
Out of your mouth.
It likes apples, which I chew them up first for because she don't like the whole fresh apple. She likes for me to chew all the good juice out of it, and then I baby bird her and spit the apple into her mouth, and she loves it like that. And also, this is a new trick she's learned. She drinks grape soda and chocolate milk right out of my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Say,
Well, she loves grape soda. Have you ever? Don't gloss over it. Don't
Wait a
gloss over
minute.
this. Have you ever seen a dog that likes grape soda?
just
Dogs will drink pretty much anything, but that doesn't mean that they should.
No. I've had 100 dogs in my life. None of them drink anything but water and milk. This dog drinks grape soda out of my mouth. She will drink chocolate milk. I don't let her drink that out of my mouth because that's nasty. So I pour that for her in a little metal bowl.
Where do you draw the line? So that's nasty, but the grape soda is
Absolutely.
okay.
No, chocolate milk's just fucking nasty. You don't do that.
Oh,
But the
I
grape
see.
soda I didn't know she liked. She saw me drinking out of the can. And they say dogs are colorblind, but if I'm drinking a grape soda, she always knows. So I don't think dogs are colorblind. I think that's a myth. And but every time or she could smell the grapes.
In a rare
could
spell
smell the
of
grapes.
truth,
smell of the grapes, you idiot.
in a where
Well, I said
oh,
that. I said it could be.
in a
could
rare
be.
spell
It's
of
one or the
truth,
other.
Kenny, you're right. Dogs are actually not colorblind. They just don't see
Oh, they're
dog color.
not?
They are not. They just they
Well, I don't know how
just
the fuck you know that. I've been hearing they're colorblind all my life. Where do you get your documentation from?
a veterinarian. I actually,
Well,
I have 2
did all
dogs
3
myself.
of them agree?
Don't humor him. Don't humor him.
Did all 3 agree? Jimmy says that 4 out of 5 veterinarians agree that my dog's a lab mix. It was actually 3 of 3 agreed, and that's even better than 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 is 80%.
And look
3
here.
of 3 is 100.
I'm still trying to unlearn the visual of you fucking spitting apple pulp and fucking grape juice into
Well, we do it in private. It ain't like we do it on a reality show or anything.
dog.
Jim, that's going to be the last thing you think about when you close your eyes tonight as you go to sleep.
Is my little baby bird eating apple out of my mouth? It is sweet.
Have we fulfilled our time commitment on the program for this week?
Yes, sir. We
Well,
have.
I hope not. I hope not, because one of the things I wanted to talk about last week that you shut your show down was this fucking Sting debacle, this entrance. What did you think about it?
I don't care. That's 2 weeks ago. Punk stole all his fucking thunder. They waited.
Oh, Punk stole his thunder. So you don't want to talk about what a shit entrance they gave Sting then?
They waited 15 fucking years to debut Sting, and then Punk stole the fucking thunder off the top of them the next week. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to close up for this edition of the Jim Cornette Experience.
Wait a minute. This is a 1 hour show, and I've been on 15 fucking minutes. What do you mean we're wrapping up?
We did the best part of it before we got you on the air.
Horseshit alert. The best part's right now. You going to put me on the after show?
We are going to leave everyone with the thought of fucking Kenny Bolin giving a purple snowball to his fucking pit bull. Ladies and gentlemen, for Alice Radley and Kenny the Beastmaster Bolin, I am Jim Cornette on Experience this week. Good day.
I'm a pet lover.
So long.
We said good day, sir.
I love my
Good day.